I can't afford it, sir. It's way
So,
too high for me to. I won't be able to do anything outside of pay child support for my two children.
the parties agree that the retroactive child support judgment comes out to $19,323, excuse me, paying back at $147 per month and beginning on February 1st. The parties are agreed that the non-custodial parent, Mr. Qudrel Jackson, will provide health care through TRICARE, and he currently provides dental with a credit of $15.73. The parties are in agreement that there is one child in this case with two children of the non-custodial parent out. Parties are in agreement that Mr. Jackson's wage and salary is $4,076.40, with a additional tax-free income of $1,323. That would bring, the parties are in agreement that brings his total resources to $5,399. With the two children outside of this order, the parties are in agreement that guideline child support would come out to $760. The state is asking for guideline support. However, Mr. Jackson is going to be requesting a deviation downward.
Okay. All right, folks, I think I got what this is. All right, so at this time, I'm going to go ahead and swear everybody in and get this done. So at this time, Ms. Roulette, Mr. Jackson, raise your right hands. You both solemnly, and Mr. Jackson, I'm sorry, and both of you, please unmute yourselves. You both solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're both under oath, and I'll allow you both to proceed at this time. Again, Mr. Jackson, I know you're not a lawyer, but the burden of proof falls on you. Why I should deviate from what the state legislature says I'm supposed to order is child support. It's the math's the math. So if you're asking me for something different, you got to give me a reason why you're asking for it. And again, I'll let you know that affordability is not a prima facie way of getting that accomplished. All right, it's you know, there's certain things you can show that would probably may get you there, but the fact that it is going to be a burden or an expense that you might not can handle as well as you would like will probably not get you there. But anyway, I'll hear what you have to say, sir, and we'll see whether or not you have you meet the criteria for the court making some form of deviation. So the state may go ahead and call the individual witnesses and proceed. Thank you.
They would like to call Qudrel Jackson.
All right, Mr. Jackson, state your full name for the record, sir.
Qudrel Jackson.
All right, you may proceed.
Mr. Jackson, I read the agreements on the record. Do you recognize those to be your agreements?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you do agree that the guideline amount of child support would be $760 in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you do not personally agree with being given guideline support.
Yes, sir.
So why are you requesting a deviation?
Because I can't afford it, sir. Like, it's way too high for me to. I won't be able to do anything outside of pay child support for my two children.
So do you have any expenses that the average person doesn't have?
I'm not sure what the average person's expenses are, sir.
Well, sir, what the states means, do you have anything that's extraordinary? In the past, I had a U.S. service member who had a special needs child who TRICARE didn't cover everything. In fact, he had to pay an additional $500 a month out of his own pocket. That's something extraordinary, sir. That's what we're talking about, something that the average person does not have as far as their living expenses are concerned. Thank you.
Nothing that extraordinary. No, I don't.
And do you have any disabilities of any kind?
No.
Okay. Do any of your children have any disabilities of any kind?
No, sir.
Okay. State passes this witness.
All right, sir, what's your rank, please?
E5
Okay, and how long have you been an E5, sir?
for since 2018 or 2018, sir.
All right, then, and how long have you been in the military?
Yeah, 12 years, sir.
All right, you're going for the 20?
Yes, sir.
All right, right now, yeah, so you've been E5 for a while. Are you looking at achieving a new rank anytime soon?
Yes, sir.
When will that might happen?
March 1st, maybe. I missed it by 2 points this month, so next month.
So you'll get a bump to E6. Okay, thank you. All right then, sir. Off the top of your head, okay, I'm sorry. I'll expand this just a little bit. You have two other children outside this order. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Are those other two children living with you?
One is, sir.
And the third child is where?
In North Carolina.
And you paying child support for that child at this time?
Yes, sir.
All right, and which state is that order out of?
Colorado.
And was the last time I'm sorry, and that you said the child is currently in North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but you got a Colorado order, and you are located where, sir?
I'm in Texas, sir.
You are in Fort. Okay, you are in Fort. I'm going to say Fort Hood again. Sorry, it's where I was born, so I'm used to saying that. But obviously, it's Fort Cavazos. You're at Fort Cavazos. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right then. All right then, and all right, and I'm not sure. I know I asked it, but I don't recall the answer. And so, when's the last time that child support order, as far as the child who is currently in North Carolina, when was the last time that order was done or was modified?
Let's see, 2022,
Okay.
I believe. Maybe 2021, sir.
And how old is the child in this case?
You say that again?
How old is the child in this case?
How old? 5, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, then. Thank you very much. Any other questions of this witness, Mr. Gwynn?
No, Judge.
All right, call your next witness, please.
State would like to call Marissa Roulette.
All right, ma'am, please state your full name for the record.
Marissa Roulette.
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Gwynn.
So during the state's opening, I stated a variety of agreements. Do you recognize those as being your agreements?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you agree that guideline child support is set at $760, correct?
Yes, sir.
And are you asking for guideline child support?
Yes, sir.
For this, state will pass this witness.
All right, ma'am. Again, the math on this one. The court has certain powers in certain other ways, but again, the math is on this one, and that's what you're requesting. I understood. Now, but I do have a couple of questions revolving around the retroactive child support, ma'am. How long did you and when did you first inform the father about that you were pregnant or that this child was born, please?
He knew the day I found out I was pregnant. So 2018, actually,
Right.
November.
And where was the child born?
In Alaska.
All right. At that time, were y'all both in Alaska?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
All right. You in the military, ma'am?
I was in the military. Yes, sir. Your Honor.
And what state do you live in now, please? I didn't look at the UFEA packet that closely.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay. All right. I keep hearing Campbell and Bragg. Well, I'm sorry. It's no longer Bragg anymore. I'm sorry. Never mind. Anyway, ma'am, was there any funds, was there any funds paid to you by the father prior to this order being done, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor. He's been consistent for a little under a year with payments that he said he can afford or agree on.
And how much? Were those payments each month?
About 300.
Okay, and was that the agreement y'all made, or is that just something he said he would do?
That's something he said he could afford a couple years ago, and it was inconsistent until I called the commander.
All right then. And based on that, ma'am, was that an amount you agreed to, or did you want more at that point?
That was the amount he said he could afford.
Okay. And how many months did you receive that amount, ma'am?
From when it was consistent or when
When it
we,
was consistent, and it was on and off. I don't. Yeah, I'm talking about months in a row. That's what I look for.
probably about, I'd say 9-ish months.
Okay. All right then. Anything else? Any other questions of this witness, Mr. Glenn?
No, not for this witness, Judge.
All right. All right.
I do want to point out for the court's knowledge, though, that when that arrears was calculated, that is agreed to,
Right.
that has already had the credit for those payments that he made over the years.
I got that, sir, but I was looking to see whether or not there was an agreement that was to be the amount, and then I couldn't.
Oh, understood, Judge. I just wanted to make sure the court was aware.
I figured that. Yeah, believe me. I know how you guys work over there. But Mom said she didn't have an agreement, so there was no agreement. She was entitled to more at that time, so it is what it is. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
I was just gonna make sure there wasn't a math circumstances that was overlooked. All right. All right. Any other questions of Ms. Roulette at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I was asking the state. Any more questions of you, ma'am? And then I'm gonna come to you. Thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Gordon?
No, Judge. I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay. Ms. Roulette, anything else, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Mr. Jackson, you heard everything. Is there anything else you think I need to know, sir?
That 300 she agreed to that. That wasn't just something I said I would do. We talked about it and she agreed on it. I have messages that show that.
All right, sir. Do you have copies of those messages where you can refresh the mother's memory? Is that stuff she might agree to?
Yes, I do have text messages.
All right, you have those available right now?
Yeah, I can scroll back, sir, but I don't know. Yeah, I can scroll back.
All right, I know it's gonna take, yeah, I understand, but again, all right, because here's the deal, sir. Again, Texas law is pretty clear. Once a child is born, you're responsible for paying child support at the child support amount that was due at the time, each of those months, going back at least 4 years. And I don't think you were trying to hide from her, so that I could go back further than that. But the bottom line is, it's called retroactive child support, and it's based on what you were earning during that 4-year time frame. And we don't do retro. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not sure if the state did it. Did you do retro, but with BAH included, or just the base pay?
No, that retro only included the base pay. BAH is only included as to the current.
All right, good enough, because I don't include BAH on as far as retro is concerned, but only base pay. So that's been followed. So yeah, that's the circumstance. All right. So, and sir, unless you got some proof that there was an agreement that was something totally different, then I've got to go with what the retroactive amount is. I got to go with what the current child support is. Because again, I understand, you heard my opening speech. I get it. It's not 20% in your case, but it is an extra 16% of the money coming out of your paycheck, sir. But the legislature says that's what I'm supposed to order, and that's what every court in this state did today, based on somebody's got to order, who has to pay 16% of their net income. So unless there's something else you can show me, or something else. I prefer writings, but unless you got something else, sir, that's what I'm looking at having to do, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to see if you can find something. In fact, okay, I'll go off the record for about 5 to 10 minutes, see if you can find that. And if you can, then you can forward a recopy of that to her, to remind her, and we'll see what that shows. But again, for right now, sir, that's what I'm looking at doing, and I'll give you 5 minutes to see what you can find one way or the other on your phone. All right?
Okay. So if I find it and send it to her, then what happens from there, sir?
We'll come back on the record, and I'll see whether or not she recalls that one way or the other, and we'll take it from there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Again, man, I'm gonna give him an opportunity to see if he can find something that says that you said okay. I'm all right with that. And then you can see on your phone whether or not that's correct. And if it is, then yeah, it's not going to go down a lot because it's only 9 months max, or whatever the number of months were. So it's not going to go down a terrible amount, but it may be something the court can give him credit for. But I'll give him an opportunity to get that over to you, and I'll just go off the record for about 5 minutes and let him look for that. So for right now, man, take a quick water break, and we'll be right back. And it's now 4:02, so we'll be back on. We'll be back on at 4:10. Thank you. All right, Mr. Jackson, were you able to locate any agreements that were approved by Ms. Roulette?
I did not find it, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, let me get back on the record and we'll take it from there. All right, we're back on the record and on Coryell County calls number DC 23-55138. The court gave the sergeant the opportunity to locate the information to see whether or not there was an agreement prior about the child support prior to the date of the court's order. And there is none, so the court will go ahead at this time and based on the information rule, unless there's something out, but I'm going to give everybody a last chance to tell the court anything in addition. So at this time, I'll start with you, Sergeant Jackson. Is there anything else you want to tell the court to take as a closing statement or a closing argument?
No, sir.
All right. Roulette, anything else, ma'am?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gwynn, anything else, sir?
No, Judge, state rests.
All right then, folks. Again, I understand, sir, it's going to be a financial hardship, but those are the rules. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and grant the child support requested by the state as far as being guidelines concerned, giving the sergeant credit for 1 child before the court today and 2 outside. I'm going to go ahead and order that the child support amount of $760 start the first day of February 2025. I'll go ahead and grant a judgment of $19,323 for retroactive child support, order repayment of that at $147. That also starts the first day of February 2025. I'll go ahead and note for the record both parties' military service and waive court costs at this time. And I'll ask, and again, this is the UFEA order, so those are the only items the court has the authority to deal with at this point. Is there anything else the state needs me to specifically rule on, Mr. Gwynn?
No, Judge.
All right, I'll ask the state to prepare that order and circulate it among the parties. Do you need the parties back in breakout rooms, or are they free to go, Mr. Gwynn?
I do need them in breakout rooms. We will be getting them that order fairly shortly.
All right, thank you both very much, and I'll sign off on that order again. I'm sorry, sir, but again, the math on these, and the court has to comply with what the legislature says I got to do by statute. It's just like if I can't drive down the highway in a 55 zone at 80, and the legislature says this is what I've got to do as far as child support is concerned. So again, that will be the ruling of the court, and we're off the record. Thank you.
He knew I was pregnant. He knew I was already going to stay a doctor's appointment to make sure my baby was healthy, and he yet contacted me at all and has yet to contact me.
So he never went with you to any doctor's appointments?
No, ma'am. I did it all by myself.
Did he appear at the birth of your child?
No, ma'am.